Ever wondered what role serotonin plays in our body and mind? This multifaceted neurotransmitter, also known as 5-hydroxytryptamine or 5-HT, has a vital role in regulating a broad range of human activities. From behavior to mood, from memory to the workings of our gastrointestinal tract, serotonin is the unseen hand that guides these processes. The intricate journey of serotonin begins in the deep recesses of our central nervous system. The raphe nuclei, nestled within the brainstem, and the enterochromaffin cells peppered throughout our intestinal mucosa, are the primary sites of serotonin synthesis. It's an intriguing process, one that demonstrates the incredible complexity and interconnectedness of our bodily systems. But the role of serotonin extends far beyond these physiological functions. It's also a primary target in the treatment of many psychiatric and neurological disorders. Conditions like major depressive disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, obsessive-compulsive disorder, and various anxiety disorders are all linked with decreased serotonin concentration in the central nervous system and plasma. While other neurotransmitters like norepinephrine and dopamine are also targets for treatment, it's often serotonin that's at the forefront. Therapies affecting serotonin are considered first line in pharmacological management. These are typically combined with other interventions such as lifestyle changes, physical exercise, and psychotherapy. Serotonin's role in our body and mind is indeed mysterious, but it's also incredibly important. It's a key player in our central nervous system, controlling a majority of our body and mind functions. So let's delve deeper into how this important neurotransmitter is produced. You may be wondering how this vital neurotransmitter, serotonin, is produced in our bodies. Well, let's dive right into it. The birth of serotonin is an intricate process that begins with an essential amino acid known as tryptophan. This humble amino acid undergoes a transformation, much like a caterpillar turning into a butterfly, through a process called hydroxylation. In this process, tryptophan is converted into a substance known as 5-hydroxy-L-tryptophan, or 5-HTP for short. But the metamorphosis doesn't stop there. The 5-HTP then goes through another transformation called decarboxylation, where it finally turns into 5-hydroxytryptamine, the chemical name for our star molecule, serotonin. It's like witnessing the birth of a star in the vast universe of our bodies, isn't it? Now, this process doesn't happen all willy-nilly. It's guided and controlled at every step by special proteins called enzymes. The most important player in this process is an enzyme known as tryptophan hydroxylase. This enzyme acts like the master of ceremonies, overseeing the first step of the transformation of tryptophan into 5-HTP. In fact, tryptophan hydroxylase is so crucial that it's considered the rate-limiting enzyme of serotonin production. This means that the speed of serotonin production is limited by the activity of this enzyme. No pressure, right? Furthermore, this complex process of serotonin synthesis is dependent on the presence of certain vitamins. Specifically, the enzymatic reactions require the presence of tetrahydrobiopterin, or BH4, and vitamin B6. These cofactors assist in the transformation process, making the birth of serotonin a community effort within our bodies. So, the production of serotonin is a complex process dependent on various factors, including the presence of certain vitamins. It's truly a marvel of nature how our bodies produce this vital neurotransmitter that plays such a crucial role in our well-being and mental health. So we've learned how serotonin is produced, but how is its activity regulated in our bodies? Well, it's a delicate dance of synthesis, release, and metabolism. At any given moment, the majority of serotonin is nestled inside our cells, tucked away in tiny intracellular vesicles, like a secret waiting to be shared. When a neuron depolarizes, it's as if the secret can no longer be contained, and serotonin bursts forth into the synaptic cleft, the tiny gap between nerve cells. Once it's out in the open, serotonin doesn't just float around aimlessly. It has a mission, a destination. That destination is a G-protein-coupled receptor, or GPCR for short. These receptors are found on either the presynaptic or postsynaptic membrane. The presynaptic membrane is the sending side, while the postsynaptic membrane is the receiving side. When serotonin binds to a GPCR on the presynaptic side, it's like hitting the brakes. This auto-regulation process inhibits further serotonin release, ensuring that the system doesn't overflow with this neurotransmitter. It's a bit like having a safety valve that prevents too much serotonin from being released at once. On the other hand, when serotonin binds to a GPCR on the postsynaptic side, it's akin to pressing the gas pedal. This triggers either an excitatory or inhibitory pathway via second messenger cascades, depending on which receptor subtype is involved. It's a sophisticated way of propagating the serotonin signal, allowing it to have a powerful impact on various neural processes. But the journey of serotonin doesn't end there. Once it's done its job, it needs to be removed from the synaptic cleft to prevent overstimulation. This is where the serotonin transporter, or SERT, comes into play. It recycles serotonin back to the cell, where it can either be stored for future use or metabolized by an enzyme called monoamine oxidase in the cytoplasm. Peripheral serotonin, on the other hand, gets metabolized by the liver and lungs. So serotonin is not only produced in our bodies, but its activity is also intricately regulated. What happens after serotonin is produced and regulated? What does it do in our bodies? Well, let's dive into the functions of this fascinating neurotransmitter. You see, serotonin has an integral physiological role in the human body. It's like a multitasker, regulating various activities including behavior, mood, memory, and even gastrointestinal homeostasis. It's like the maestro of your internal orchestra, ensuring everything runs harmoniously. Let's start with behavior and mood. Ever wondered why some days you wake up feeling on top of the world, and other days you just want to hide under the covers? Well, serotonin plays a significant role in this emotional roller coaster. It helps to regulate our mood, contributing to feelings of well-being and happiness. When serotonin levels are balanced, you're more likely to feel emotionally stable. But when these levels drop, you may experience feelings of anxiety or sadness. Now, on to memory. Remember that time you aced your exams or that unforgettable vacation you had last summer? You can thank serotonin for that. It plays a critical role in enhancing our memory and learning capabilities. Moving on to gastrointestinal homeostasis. Yes, you heard it right. Serotonin isn't just about your brain and mood. It also plays a significant role in your gut. It helps regulate bowel movements and functions, contributing to overall digestive health. But here's where it gets really interesting. Serotonin is a primary treatment target for many psychiatric and neurological disorders associated with decreased central nervous system and plasma serotonin concentration. This includes major depressive disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, obsessive-compulsive disorder, and anxiety disorders. Other neurotransmitters like norepinephrine and dopamine are also targets of treatment for these pathologies. However, therapies that affect serotonin are often considered first line in pharmacologic management. This is in addition to other interventions such as lifestyle changes, physical exercise, and psychotherapy. And that is the important role that serotonin plays in our bodies and minds. Let's summarize what we've learned about serotonin. Serotonin, also known as 5-hydroxytryptamine, is a crucial neurotransmitter with a vital physiological role in our bodies. It's synthesized in the brainstem's rapid nuclei and the intestinal mucosa's enterochromaffin cells. The production process begins with the essential amino acid tryptophan, which undergoes hydroxylation and decarboxylation to form serotonin. This process is regulated by various enzymes and cofactors, including tryptophan hydroxylase, which is considered the rate-limiting enzyme of serotonin production. Serotonin primarily helps regulate behavior, mood, memory, and gastrointestinal homeostasis. It's stored in intracellular vesicles and enters the synaptic cleft after neuron depolarization, binding to G protein-coupled receptors on either the presynaptic or postsynaptic membrane. This neurotransmitter's activity is tightly controlled by its rate of synthesis, release, and metabolism. Serotonin is also a primary treatment target for many psychiatric and neurological disorders associated with decreased CNS and plasma serotonin concentration. These conditions include major depressive disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, obsessive-compulsive disorder, and anxiety disorders. Therapies that affect serotonin are often considered first line in pharmacologic management, along with lifestyle changes, physical exercise, and psychotherapy. In essence, serotonin plays a critical role in our central nervous system, controlling the majority of our body and mind functions. It's like the maestro conducting the symphony of our biological processes. Understanding its complex dynamics and how it interacts with other neurotransmitters is crucial for advancing our knowledge of the human brain and developing effective treatments for various neurological and psychiatric disorders. So, the next time you hear about serotonin, you'll know exactly what role it plays in our bodies and minds. Thanks for joining us on this exploration of serotonin, and we hope you've enjoyed the journey as much as we have.